Howdy. Today is Valentine's Day. The holiday ostensibly about love, but in reality is just an excuse for our corporate overlords to sell us heart-shaped everything and mediocre chocolate. Except no, don't fall into the cynical trap of blaming a holiday for the symptoms of the economic system you live under. There is no ethical holidaying under capitalism. I like the idea of having a holiday to celebrate love. Love is a beautiful thing. It's one of the best parts of being a human being with feelings, and I believe it's worthy of celebration. And I also don't buy into the whole, you shouldn't need a holiday to get you to do nice things for your partner trip that also gets applied to Mother's and Father's Day. Yes, of course, you and your partner should always be doing nice things for each other. The point of Valentine's Day is to have one day a year to go above and beyond. Break out the candles, get drunk and watch a stupid rom-com, buy me a teddy bear. You can't go above and beyond every other day of the year because then the whole above and beyond thing breaks. It's like Timmy Turner wishing for it to be Christmas every day, and all that results is an apparently forgettable episode of an otherwise pretty iconic show, because the only thing I can remember from that episode is the one really annoying song and the general vibe that things didn't go to plan. Wasn't there also a snowmobile involved at one point? What was this video about again? Oh yeah, Valentine's Day. I like it. Even when I don't have a partner to celebrate with, I still enjoy seeing other people sharing their love for each other. I think the poly community calls that compersion. It's also a good excuse to write a 50-minute-long video about love songs. Hello, title card. Ah yes, as George Carlin put it,
all you ever hear is these goddamn love songs.
And in a lot of ways he was right. In fact, I checked, and 28 of the songs on the Spotify Top 50 today are love songs. And before you say, well, no shit, Xandra, today is Valentine's Day. Of course everybody's gonna be wanting to listen to love songs. I wrote this part of the script a month ago, so shut up. In fact, I think the day I checked might have had an unusually low number of love songs on the charts because it was only like 2 days after that new 21 Savage album dropped and like the whole thing was on the charts. Even then though, 2 of the songs from that album are love songs. I did group breakup songs, heartbreak songs, and anything else that deals with the good, the bad, and the ugly of romance together to get that 28 out of 50 stat, but today I just want to look at what makes a good love song. That is, a song about the love one person feels for another. Those other types of songs might get their own videos at some point, and by might I mean will, so stay tuned. Section 1. Why are there so many love songs? Before I get into what I think makes a good love song, I want to try and figure out why there really do seem to be so many of them. You'd think it would be possible to sing about anything it's possible to talk about, so again, as George Carlin put it,
how about a song about a fire in a daycare center?
Clearly not an Infant Annihilator fan. The gentlemen and scholars over on r/explainlikeim5 have several ideas about this. On a post from 10 years ago, one user brought up how love is a universal human experience with an intense emotional component, which makes love songs both easy to write about and easy to connect with. Another user replied pointing out that the love song is just an extension of the older tradition of writing poetry and all kinds of expressive works about love. Yet another user came up with the interesting hypothesis that because our brains release endorphins in response to both love and music, putting the two together just makes sense from a physiological perspective. I don't know if that's really the reason why there are so many love songs, but I do know that when I was 5, I had no fucking clue what an endorphin was. The idea that love songs are so common because of their universal relatability does seem to be the dominant hypothesis offered by people with magic pieces of paper that make them smart. And as that other user pointed out, it is true that we've been making various forms of art focused on love for a very, very long time. So long, in fact, that one of the most retold ancient Greek myths isn't just about love, it's about a love song. The legend of Orpheus, the son of Apollo and the muse Calliope, and Eurydice, Orpheus's love interest who kicks it while hanging in the woods with some nymphs. Oh, to be an ancient Greek baddie frolicking in the forest with some nymphs. Sees the former literally walk into hell to try to save his lover by playing a song about how much he grieves her loss. This will not be the last time the myth of Orpheus and Eurydice is mentioned in this video. If you ask me, I think the reason there seem to be so many love songs has less to do with there actually being a disproportionate number of them, and instead that because love is a universal experience, love songs just tend to do better commercially than songs about, I don't know, how much you like juice or whatever that one Meshuggah song's about. I like juice. Regardless of why there are so many, some of them are good, some of them suck, and some of them are just kinda mid. Let's look at why. Section 2. What makes a good love song? Part 1. Show don't tell. Ah yes. The first thing you learn in any creative writing class. Well, I'm assuming. I didn't go to college. But I do remember hearing this a lot during the creative writing unit of every single high school English class I was ever subjected to, so I'm assuming it's important at the collegiate level as well. Do I need to explain what this means? Again, you've definitely had it drilled into your brain as part of the sort of reverse lobotomy that is the American high school curriculum. If you're British, I'm sorry. All those 4 years none of us will ever get back seem to have produced is the knowledge that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and the realization that, as far as the government is concerned, you're an adult now and absolutely fucking nothing has prepared you for the real world. Oh, and the memory of this poster. Okay, basically, show don't tell means that when creating a narrative or lyrical work, you should strive to use metaphors and imagery to actually conjure an image in someone's head rather than just bluntly stating something. It's the difference between, in the far distance, just before the horizon, she could see it. The place where childhood innocence and naivete was forever lost. She could see the stones, an old wooden bucket, seemingly suspended in both time and space just as her memory sat within her mind, and wondered if the result of her actions still lay in the murky depths at the bottom of the well. And the girl saw the well where she hid her brother's dead body when she was 5. Both get the same point across, but one really puts an image in your head. This rule of thumb applies to love songs and, more broadly, all song lyrics that don't deliberately subvert this rule, in the sense that something like "He took my hand and the colors seemed to shine brighter" is a better lyric than "I love my girlfriend and she loves me," or something really dumb like, I don't know, just "I want to hold your hand." Wait. Yep, folks, I'm going to be shitting on the Beatles for a good part of this video. Welcome to You Want to Write a Good Love Song? Then don't do what the Beatles did! To be clear, no, I haven't jumped on the hipster bandwagon of people who say that the Fab Four's entire discography sucks just because it's trendy to be a contrarian, but I do think that part of the reason a lot of people have is because a lot of the Beatles' most famous songs are love songs, and most of the Beatles' love songs kinda suck or are mid at best. The band got better at writing them as their career progressed, as you would expect, but particularly the early ones are just, what's the term?
Not good.
Yeah, that's it. The Beatles are also just like the most famous band ever, and literally everyone watching this video has heard their songs, so I can talk about them without playing clips and risking this video getting shadow realmed for copyright infringement, even though that would totally be fair use. In starting this segment as an example of some real telling not showing songwriting, we got "I Wanna Hold Your Hand." Oh yeah, I'll tell you something. I think you'll understand when I say that something. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. Fucking riveting. Yeah, this just doesn't paint any kind of picture in my head at all, to the point that it's kind of hard to say anything else about it. It's literally just stating a want. The epitome of what we're talking about here. The second verse isn't any better, and then the bridge almost gets there but still misses the mark. And when I touch you, I feel happy inside. It's such a feeling that my love, I can't hide. I can't hide. I can't hide. This part at least brings us somewhat more into the inner world of the singer. We learn he feels happy when he touches his lover, and that feeling becomes too much for him to contain within himself. But that's just about the laziest possible way of expressing that idea. There's no metaphor, there's nothing to show the happiness that he feels, just a statement telling us that he's feeling it. Now, you might be thinking, well sure, Xandra, but all popular love songs of the era were written that way. The Beatles were like the first band that raised the bar for artistry within pop and rock music, and they wouldn't really start to do that for another 2 or 3 albums. But you would be wrong about the all love songs of the era were written like that part. So again, sit down and shut up. No comments from the peanut gallery. Okay? Can you do that, sweetheart? 10 years before this song was released, in 1953, the world was graced by the masterful example of love songwriting that is, and you're gonna think I'm fucking with you here, but I swear to God I'm not, and if you stick with me, you're gonna see what I mean, okay? Okay? You ready? That's Amore by Dean Martin. Stay with me. I know what that sounds like, but just humor me. Yeah, the when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie. Yeah, that song. You've heard it in like every movie. Probably Stuart Little though. It's a goofy ass song, but that's actually part of what makes it such a great love song. Let's look at the lyrics, you'll see what I mean. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's Amore. When the world seems to shine like you've had too much wine, that's Amore. Immediately, well, at least immediately after the intro, we get an image. We get similes. And they are goofy, and they are as cheesy as a big pizza pie. And that's perfect. This song is all about the parts of falling in love that feel silly, and moreover, how when you're falling in love, any pretenses about caring that you're being silly leave the building faster than a cop during a school. Jesus Christ, I wrote that into the script? That's way too dark. Faster than people who steal Stanley Cups from Target. Is that still relevant? I'm totally on TikTok, like all the time. And it continues. When the stars make you drool just like pasta fazool, that's Amore. When you dance down the street with a cloud at your feet, you're in love. When you walk in a dream, but you know you're not dreaming, signore. Scusami, but you see back in old Napoli, that's Amore. I really get this vivid mental picture of two young lovers in an Italian villa leaving a restaurant just after sundown. The old cobblestone streets of Naples are lit by the full moon, and both of them are just strolling along, hand in hand, dancing as they walk, and laughing with no regard for how silly they look to anyone who sees them. And that's an image I can relate to my own experiences. Kind of. Being in love has a lot of moments like that, and they're rarely talked about in love songs. See? I told you. This is a really well-written love song. A really well-written love song that was written over 70 years ago. To start off the next section, let's jump to something closer to the present. Part 2. Make it personal. Romantic love is a personal thing. It's something your person feels for another person. And because love is personal, so too should love songs be personal. And I think one of the most glaring flaws with a lot of popular love songs, particularly ones released within the last 20 years or so, is just how badly they fuck this up. To start, and I'm incredibly sorry to remind you that this song exists, Baby by Justin Bieber. Yeah, this song sucks. Not just for this reason, and I don't even need to say that. I think the only people I've ever met that liked this song were other kids at my elementary school, and even then they were outliers. I'm not even going to talk about the lyrics directly. They are very unfortunately already stuck in both of our heads, and there really isn't that much to analyze there. In fact, honestly, I'm really just using Baby as an archetype for what I'd like to call the Parasocial Relationship song. It's not really a love song per se, it's more of a help me out, Bo.
Cleverly constructed ruse designed by a marketing team cashing in on puberty and low self-esteem.
Yeah, the thing about Baby and the hundreds of other songs like it is that it can apply to literally anybody, and it is in fact designed that way. I say designed because this is far more of a product than it is a song. And a love song just isn't supposed to work like that. You're not supposed to be directly inserting yourself into the lyrics and getting wish fulfillment out of the parasocial relationship between yourself and the pop star singer. Songs like this are really nothing more than cynical cash grabs, and none of them are any good. It's hard to even call them love songs because there isn't actually anybody being sung about. It's just a blank canvas that a preteen can project herself onto. Which isn't to say that a love song necessarily needs to be about a specific real person, although ones that are usually better in my opinion. Just that you should feel like the singer is singing to someone specific rather than one of those county fair wooden cutout things you stand behind and get your picture taken, except instead of like a farmer shoveling hay, it's just a stick figure holding up a sign that says Justin Bieber is totes in love with me. Ow. Oh my god, I just remembered there's an even more egregious Bieber song I can talk about. Oh yeah, here we go. If I was your boyfriend, I'd never let you go. I can take you places you ain't never been before. Baby, take a chance or you'll never ever know. I got money in my hands that I'd really like to blow. Swag, swag, swag on you. Chillin' by the fire, we eatin' fondue. Oh, This song sucks so fucking much. Girlfriend, girlfriend, you could be my girlfriend. You could be my girlfriend until the world ends. Make you dance, do a spin and a twirl, and voice going crazy on this hook like a whirlwind. Swaggy. Yeah, that's just fucking awful, and a perfect example of what I'm talking about too. This isn't a love song, this is just insidious fan service. Fundamentally, you should be required to empathize. When you listen to a love song, you should be made to relate what's being sung about to your own personal experiences rather than directly inserting yourself into the lyrics. There is another way to fail at making a love song feel personal. And once again, it's time for, you want to write a good love song? Then don't do what the Beatles did. This time I'm going to be looking at Love Me Do, but honestly this applies to most of their early love songs. My gripe also isn't with the lyrics this time, but a production choice. Although the lyrics are another great example of the Beatles' complete disregard for any sort of imagery or metaphor in their early recordings. Love me do. You know I love you. I'll always be true. So please, love me do. This song, again, like many of their early love songs and just songs in general, features both John and Paul singing, which on its own is welcome. The two's voices harmonize really well together. The problem is, in the context of a love song, two different voices singing together just fundamentally doesn't work unless the point of doing that is that those are actually the two lovers singing to each other, which this isn't a fanfic, or that, again, it's a polyamorous relationship, which I think is safe to rule out in this case. There's a reason why one of the most common vectors for a love song is a single person strumming an acoustic guitar and pining over their special someone. Fundamentally, that's a very effective way to make a song feel intimate and personal. That's not at all to say that every acoustic ballad ever written is good, or that the best love songs are acoustic ballads. No, some of them suck ass harder than an industrial vacuum cleaner in a petting zoo. It's just that having backup singers on a love song doesn't really work in my opinion. That's also not to say that you can't have more than one person singing on a love song. In fact, I think that's another surefire way to encourage a listener to empathize with the song and make it feel more personal if you do it correctly. Take Stevie Nicks' Leather and Lace, for example, or take her lace and give her your leather, for example. This song is a great example of everything I've talked about in this part of the video. Not only is there a verse written from the perspective of a woman and one from the perspective of a man, but the song's also written about a real person, or real people. Depending on how you want to look at it, this song is either about the two real people Nicks originally wrote it for, Waylon Jennings and Jesse Coulter, or about the two real people who are actually singing on it, Stevie Nicks and Don Henley, who were in a relationship for about a year. And while those two were only together for a relatively short period of time, and in fact had broken up when the song was released, the world did get this amazing song out of their relationship. Let's take a look at the lyrics. Is love so fragile and the heart so hollow? Shatter with words impossible to follow. You're saying I'm fragile, try not to be. I search only for something I can't see. I have my own life and I'm stronger than you know. But I carry this feeling when you walked into my house that you won't be walking out the door. Nick's verse sets up a couple of themes. There's the idea of her fragile, soft exterior not being a fair representation of her strong, independent core, and then the when you walked into my house I knew you wouldn't be walking out the door metaphor. I mean, I guess you could take it literally, but I assume when you walk in my house is intended to be a metaphor for when you walked into my life. Both of these themes are mirrored on Henley's verse. You in the moonlight, with your sleepy eyes, could you ever love a man like me? And you were right, when I walked into your house, I knew I'd never want to leave. Sometimes I'm a strong man, sometimes cold and scared, and sometimes I cry. But that time I saw you, I knew with you to light my nights, somehow I'd get by. Immediately, we have a picture of a sleepy-eyed Nicks in the moonlight, so points for showing, not telling. But that line also serves the purpose of showing us Nick's exterior softness, this time from an exterior perspective that doesn't yet know the strong interior that Nicks proclaims on her verse. We then get a direct response to the when you walked into my house lyric with, and you were right, I'd never want to leave, being an important line that really makes this whole song feel like a conversation between two people that we as listeners aren't a part of. The softness duality theme is then developed further in lines where Henley exposes his own internal softness as a counter counter to his strong exterior, completing the whole yin and yang theme forming the basis of the entire song. That duality also forces us to use empathy when listening to this song, since a duality has no room for a third party. To apply this song to ourselves, we must empathize with either Henley or Hicks. Bill Hicks and Don Henley. Leather and Lace. The iconic chorus to this song dives deeper into the dichotomy of the two singers, but I honestly don't have anything new to say about it, and you probably know the lyrics already, so let's just move on. Part 3. Be emotional. Remember how I said love is personal, and so love songs should also be personal? Well, love is also emotional, so love songs should be emotional as well. This seems almost painfully obvious, right? Well, apparently not, because there are a lot of love songs out there with completely mismatched emotional tone. And before I tear into one of them for that, no points for guessing who wrote it, how's about starting off one of these sections with a good example for a change? Something that just nails the emotion. It's crazy good at what it does. It's Crazy on You by Heart. That's the song I'm gonna be looking at. So after one of the most fucking awesome intros to any song ever, we get the first verse.
We may still have time, we might still get by. Every time I think about it, I want to cry. We're bombed to the devil, and the kids keep coming. No way to breathe easy, no time to be young.
This first verse is basically a stress bomb of all the different things that are interfering with the intimate aspects of these lovers' lives. The lyrical content itself isn't really what I want to focus on, it's more the delivery of it and the emotional tone, the energy, and the lyrical mood. These lyrics feel stressful and maybe a bit tired, and Ann Wilson sings them in the most comfortable part of her vocal range in an almost spoken voice. We get the vibe that life has been beating down on the singer and her partner and preventing them from embracing the more intimate aspects of their love life that they felt when they first fell in love.
But I tell myself that I'ma do it alright. There's nothing left to do tonight but go crazy on you, crazy on you. Let me go crazy, crazy on you.
Bam! Instant emotional shift. Wilson jumps way up into her chest voice, forcing her to really belt out every note, and lyrically we shift from the day-to-day grind of life to a more intimate scene. The juxtaposition of a quieter, lower intensity verse with a high energy chorus also widens the emotional spectrum of this song and makes the low feel lower and the high feel higher. This is just a general songwriting trick, but it does lend itself very well to love songs. I think that's all I really have to say about this one, so you know what time it is. It's time for... You want to write a good love song? Then don't do what the Rolling Stones did. Just kidding. Don't do what the Beatles did. This time we're going to be looking at one of the most frankly surreal examples of mismatch emotion in a love song, A Hard Day's Night. Okay, so I like this song. Don't get me wrong. As far as Beatles love songs go, the lyrics on this one really aren't all that bad. It's the delivery that's just kind of baffling. This song is written from the perspective of someone coming home exhausted from a long day at work. Or, well, maybe two people, because again, like the last example, John and Paul are both singing on this one. His body aches, his brain is tired, the guy is slumped. EP mode. So what's the best vibe for this song? Well, obviously, it's high-energy rock and roll song. Unlike Crazy on You, A Hard Day's Night doesn't juxtapose a soft, low-intensity verse with a loud, high-intensity chorus, which would totally make sense for this song. The person singing is supposed to be tired from a hard day at work until he's revitalized by his partner at home. It's not like the band were strangers to writing ballads at this point in their career, so the choice to keep this song at a constant high energy and in fact push higher during the middle 8 is just, I don't know, it feels strange to me. It has the effect of both separating what's being sung from how it's being sung, making the song feel less personal, as well as flattening the emotional range of the song overall, making it feel less emotional since we have no low point to compare this high point to. Again, of the 3 Beatles songs I've talked about in this video, this is definitely the one I feel like is the least bad, but I do still feel like the song could have been made considerably better if the verses were just toned down a little bit. Finally, for this section, I want to look at an example of a modern popular love song that I think does things right on the emotional front, because so far all the examples I've given of modern love songs have all been bad examples, and I don't want you to get the idea that I think that no one's written a good love song since the 80s. I can think of a really good recent example of great emotional control on display in a popular love song, in the form of MONTERO, Call Me By Your Name by Lil Nas X. I really like this song. I played the hell out of it when it first came out, and I mean, just come on. The music video to this thing has to be one of the best in recent memory. The dude gives the devil a lap dance. Specifically, I want to highlight the verse after the first chorus. Lil Nas X's monotone baritone vocals give way to a burst of energy as soon as this verse hits.
Hey, I wanna sell what you're buying. I wanna feel on your ass in Hawaii. I want that jet lag from fucking and flying. Shoot a shot in your mouth while I'm riding.
The lyrics here are also a great example of how to do an I Want Your Love song that stands out. I want to sell what you're buying. I want to feel on your ass in Hawaii. I want that jet lag from fucking and flying. Shoot a child in your mouth while I'm riding. And those lyrics are even more emotionally powerful given the context that this song was part of Lil Nas X's coming out. He's proudly embracing his sexual chemistry with this man and wants all of us to know it. Rick Beato is wrong. Pop music doesn't suck now. It just doesn't sound like Led Zeppelin anymore. And with that, dear viewers, I've imparted unto you the knowledge of what makes a good love song. According to me, someone barely qualified to answer that question. But what's this? The video isn't over yet. What mysterious fortune awaits you in the remainder of this video essay? More good love songs. My favorite ones. Starting with number 5, Foo Fighters' Everlong. Is this a massively well-known song for which everything has been said already? Yes, but I'm gonna say it all again. When Dave Grohl wrote Everlong, he was at a very low point in his life. His wife had recently divorced him, leaving him practically homeless, and the Foo Fighters weren't doing as well commercially as he had hoped, and the band was on the verge of splitting up. Not to mention the monumental and tragic death of one of his closest friends only 2 years prior. Out of all this darkness, while visiting home in Virginia, he wrote one of the most visceral expressions of what it's like to fall madly in love this world has ever heard. This song is about falling head over heels into a relationship with a new person, perhaps falling too quickly even, but not wanting it to stop. Throwing caution to the wind and embracing the intoxicating passion of the romance. The verses, along with the restful bridge, keep an understated and peaceful vibe with unforgettable bits of pure romantic poetry in the lyrics. Come down and waste away with me, down with me. Slow how you wanted it to be. I'm over my head, out of her head, she sang. Breathe out so I can breathe you in, hold you in. And now I know you've always been, out of your head, out of my head I sang. Grohl absolutely nailed making this song feel personal. I can picture him whispering these words to another person in a moment of intimacy. The breathe out so I can breathe you in line especially is just... And then, cue the electric guitars, the chorus hits, and we get an explosion of emotional energy. If everything could ever feel this real forever, if anything could ever feel this good again, the only thing I'll ever ask of you, you gotta promise not to stop when I say when, she sang. It's like all the bottled up emotions suddenly burst out, with the lyrics addressing the worries each person feels about taking things too fast, but not caring enough to slow down. If everything could ever feel this real forever, and if anything could ever feel this good again, both allude to the point Grohl found himself in his life when writing the song. The way he feels for this person now reminds him of how he first felt for his ex-wife, causing him anxiety over fears that things might turn out the same way this time around. But again, things just feel too good to stop. Ultimately, this song is intimate, personal, and highly emotional. All the trappings of a great love song. Number 4, Nujabes featuring Sice Star, Lady Brown. Okay, so first off, the beat to this song fucking rules. The nylon string guitar samples are wistful sounding and also just catchy as hell. Lyrically, this song is about as devotional as a love song can possibly be, an aspect strengthened by the numerous references to God and religion sprinkled throughout the track. We get the sense that in Sice Star's eyes, this woman is the physical incarnation of a goddess, and he worships her as such. There's frankly too many good lyrics in this song for me to mention them all, but here's a selection of my favorites. You are the personification of all God's blessings, coming to me in just one physical being, one physical dream that I want to redeem. So sensual, her smile like a chemical extract of perfection. She smells like a happy birthday on a Thursday. Oh, okay, that one's kind of strange, but it's memorable nonetheless. I reckon that I'm confessing her body is just a blessing from God down to earth. She needs to be in a church to prove that we didn't spawn from fish but God's work. That's a really fucking good line. For she is the key to open my mind to see the energy that radiates from the gates of heavenly bliss. I reminisce over touch and a kiss. While you fucking a bitch, I go make love to my miss. Oof! I want to hold you, mold your soul, I behold you, know you better than myself, never own you, but keep you, never leave you, I beseech you. God's gift to earth is you wearing a see-through. Whoo, that's bars, man. This song also stands out lyrically within its genre, a fact addressed on the line, while you fucking a bitch, I go make love to my miss. There aren't a lot of rap songs that take this genuinely real and beneath the surface approach to a song like this. Alright, for clarification on what I mean here, I'm not at all saying that there aren't any rap songs with real or beneath the surface lyrics, just that there aren't a lot of rap love songs with real or beneath the surface lyrics. Not that there are none at all, or that this is the only one, just that this song stands out because it is one. The song is much more about the entirety of this woman's being than just her mammalian protuberances. Don't get me wrong, that's on here too. It doesn't hurt that she's got an ass for days, but those lines don't feel objectifying in the same way they would removed from the rest of the lyrics, that deify every single aspect of this woman. She's not just a piece of ass, she's a divine manifestation of the perfection of creation that could make Richard Dawkins say in Our Father. Number 3, Jimi Hendrix, May This Be Love. Speaking of songs with amazing instrumentals, this severely underrated gem off Hendrix's debut LP. The sliding, delay-soaked, soft-timbred, and sweetly psychedelic electric guitars on this song are a perfect fit for the lyrics. As soon as this song starts, we're transported to a waterfall, rolling on and crashing, kicking up enough mist that we see rainbows when the sun hits the air around it as we bathe in the waters below. There might be another reason why we're seeing rainbows, though. There's a pretty solid chance this song was written for a particular woman named Lucy that Jimi Hendrix was documented to be quite fond of. The bridge certainly points us in that direction with the lyrics. Some people say daydreaming's for all the lazy-minded fools with nothing else to do. Hint, daydreaming doesn't mean what it usually does here. But if we choose to interpret these lyrics as being about another person, this becomes one of the most poetic love songs of all time. Listen to these lyrics with the mindset that waterfall is another person. Waterfall, nothing can harm me at all. My worries seem so very small with my waterfall. I can see my rainbow calling me through the misty breeze of my waterfall. Talk about showing and not telling. Intentional or not, and for the record, I think it probably is intentional in that Hendrix just wrote this song in such a way that there are multiple equally valid interpretations of the lyrics. The metaphor presented here of comparing a lover to a waterfall is just so damn good. Waterfalls are like the thing that you point to as an example of outstanding natural beauty. That and rainbows, which is also here. Hendrix is comparing this person's beauty to that of the natural world, or perhaps pointing out how this person's beauty is an extension thereof, and showing us this beauty not just lyrically, but instrumentally with the serene guitar textures that mirror the lyrics perfectly and have a definite waterfall-y vibe to them. And then we have one of my favorite lyrics on this song. Waterfall, don't ever change your ways, fall with me for a million days, oh my waterfall. That line is so good. It's truly a testament to how unparalleled Hendrix was as a songwriter that even when maybe only setting out to write a song about the beauty of the natural world around us and how that beauty is perhaps more apparent under the influence of certain medicinal enhancements, he still ended up writing one of the best love songs of all time. At least in my opinion. Number 2. Talking Heads, This Must Be the Place. Once again, a song with amazing instrumentals. There are so many different layers of sound on this track. I feel like I notice a new thing in the mix every time I listen to this song. And everything is built on top of this constant drum, bass, and I think that's a synth, but it could be a guitar loop that plays throughout the entirety of the song, almost like a drone. But for however good the arrangement is, lyrically this song is unmatched as far as love songs go. Well, except for the song in the number 1 spot. Home is where I want to be, pick me up and turn me round. I feel numb, born with a weak heart, I guess I must be having fun. As far as showing and not telling goes, I cannot think of a better example of using metaphor to achieve that goal than the extended metaphor in this song. Calling the person you're in love with home, as in the place you feel most safe, The place where it's okay if you're goofy or sad or any other emotion for that matter, because it's where you feel the most comfortable being alive. Comparing your lover to that, to home, is just, you win. There's no better metaphor. The less we say about it, the better. Make it up as we go along. Feet on the ground, head in the sky. It's okay, I know nothing's wrong. This song is also remarkable for how much meaning David Byrne was able to squeeze into a relatively minimalist line count and song structure. And even that compositional minimalism wraps back around into the lyrics with the line, the less we say about it, the better. Byrne is simultaneously making a point about not overthinking your emotions when it comes to falling in love, while also just stating the writing philosophy of this song. And to that not overthinking your emotions point, one of the themes this song draws on is just that. Love is not something to be heavily analyzed. It's a primal emotion to just be felt. Home is where I want to be, but I guess I'm already there. I come home, she lifted up her wings. I guess that this must be the place. I can't tell one from another that I find you or you find me. There was a time before we were born, if someone asked, this is where I'll be. Here, the home metaphor becomes literal. We're now not just talking about how your lover feels like home to you, but living in the moments of actual domesticity in your literal home with your partner. Then we put one foot back into the metaphorical while keeping one in the literal with the line, if someone asks, this is where I'll be. Both home literally and metaphorically. Then, in a sudden burst of emotion, with Byrne stepping up higher into his range and wailing out the notes, we get a barrage of some of the most memorable lines in any love song ever written. Hey, we drift in and out. Hey, sing into my mouth. Okay, stop. No one has ever said kiss me in a more beautiful way than that. Sing into my mouth has to be one of the best lyrics of all time. David Byrne is a fucking genius. I mean, hey, I'm kind of like doing something here, so can you? Yeah, sorry, I'll you know. Yeah. Out of all those kinds of people, you got a face with a view. I'm just an animal looking for a home and share the same space for a minute or two. And you love me till my heart stops, love me till I'm dead, eyes that light up, eyes look through you, cover up the blank spots, hit me on the head, I go, ooh, ooh. Wow, just wow. Where to even start with that? I mean, You've Got a Face with a View continues the extended metaphor of this song in a very beautiful and clever way. I'm just an animal looking for a home and share the same space for a minute or two points us back to the don't overthink it idea by focusing our attention on the very primal, base instinct level that love exists on. And after those two earth-shatteringly poetic lines, Byrne just keeps going, raising his voice even more, starting with, and you love me till my heart stops, seemingly regressing into those base instincts until the only real way of expressing his joy is illuminated. To just, ooh. Yeah, I love this song. Genuinely, if you don't get chills listening to that last part, you're broken. I got chills just writing the lyrics into this script, and I've listened to this song like 100 times. It's so amazing. Before I get to the number one spot on this list, there's a few honorable mentions I want to talk about, starting with Gingsu, Pepper Tree Lady. Gingsu is a local band here in SoCal. My band, Soma, has played with them a number of times. They're really cool guys and they write some really awesome music. I debated putting this song on the actual list. The list used to be longer, but I slimmed it down to just being a top 5. But I don't know, it felt like maybe favoritism if I put a band that like my friends are in onto this list. I don't know. But I still want to talk about it because it is genuinely one of my favorite love songs. I know both the person that wrote it and the person that he wrote it about. I know the story of why the song is called what it is, and it's really cute, but I haven't cleared with them whether or not it's like my place to retell it, so I don't know. If you want to know, go bother them on Instagram after you listen to this song. I've danced to this song with people that I was romantically involved with at the time at their shows, so it's like it definitely belonged on here. I needed to bring it up. Go listen to it. It's an amazing song. And then there were a couple other ones that were originally going to be on this list when I planned on making it a top 10. Hounds of Love by Kate Bush, Naked as We Came by Iron and Wine, Let's Get It On by Marvin Gaye, I'll Follow You Into the Dark by Death Cab for Cutie, and maybe a couple other ones, but those were the main ones that were going to be on there. With that out of the way, let's get to number 1, Anais Mitchell, All I've Ever Known from Hadestown. Okay, so first of all, guaranteed I'm gonna cry while talking about this song, and also this is the one part of this video that I didn't script at all. Literally it just says just riff on the script. So if you've never heard of the Broadway masterpiece that is Hadestown, fix that, because this thing it's amazing. It's a retelling of the myth of Orpheus and Eurydice. This is what I was talking about when I said that wouldn't be the last time I would bring it up in this video. The whole thing is just, it's perfect. It's like one of the best things I've ever seen happen on a stage. It was based on a book and a concept album written by Anais Mitchell in like 2007, I want to say, and later adapted into a Broadway musical that won like every Tony, pretty much. I have had the immense privilege of actually having been able to see it on Broadway at the Walter Kerr Theater with the original cast, and yeah, I bawled my eyes out like harder than anything else has ever made me cry. It's truly a life-changing production. If you have the ability to go see it on Broadway while it's still there, for the love of God, do it. And in fact, if this video is the first time you've ever heard of the myth of Orpheus and Eurydice, don't read anything else about it than what I've said in this video, and find some way to watch this show, whether it's going and seeing it on Broadway or, you know, I'm not telling you to look up Hadestown slime tutorials, but, you know, they're out there. That's how I went into it the first time I saw it, and I don't want to say too much, but I'm happy that I didn't know about something that most people do, or at least most people who have like a slightly above average interest in Greek mythology like me. I don't know how I'd never heard of the myth, but whatever. Anyways, this song. So I don't even know where to begin with this. I guess just the lyrics of it. I'll just jump into the lyrics. So this song is a duet between Eurydice and Orpheus, and it starts off with a verse from Eurydice. I was alone so long, I didn't even know that I was lonely. Out in the cold so long, I didn't even know that I was cold. Turned my collar to the wind, this is how it's always been. All I've ever known is how to hold my own. All I've ever known is how to hold my own, but now I want to hold you too. Yeah, I'm already starting to get a little bit choked up here. That's just, like, amazing, right? Like, all I've ever known is how to hold my own, but now I want to hold you too. I'm speechless. I should have scripted this so that I don't end up just making that face at the camera after all of these lyrics, but there's more. I'll just keep going. You take me in your arms and suddenly there's sunlight all around me, everything bright and warm and shining like it never did before, and for a moment I forget just how dark and cold it gets. All I've ever known is how to hold my own. All I've ever known is how to hold my own, but now I want to hold you. Now I want to hold you close. I don't want to ever have to let you go. Now I want to hold you tight. I don't want to go back to the lonely life. Again, I don't really even know how to analyze these lyrics. I feel like they really just speak for themselves. I guess I could offer the just amazing piece of context that I learned while researching this video. The two actors playing Orpheus and Eurydice, Reeve Carney and Ava Noblezada, respectively, during the course of the production of this show, actually fell in love in real life. And so one of the just most amazing things about this song and about the whole production to me is that when you listen to the songs from this musical, or you watch it live, or you watch a slime tutorial of it, you're not just watching Orpheus and Eurydice singing these songs to each other. You're really also seeing Reeve Carney and Ava Noblezada singing them to each other. And that's just so beautiful. I don't think it can get more make it personal than that. The two people singing these genuinely are in love. And they're also playing the characters that are singing this. Like, I'm kind of just rambling. I should just keep going. Then we have Orpheus's verse. I don't know how or why, or who am I that I should get to hold you, but when I saw you all alone against the sky, it's like I'd known you all along. I knew you before we met, and I don't even know you yet. All I know is you're someone I have always known. All I know is you're someone I have always known, and I don't even know you. Now I want to hold you close. I don't want to ever have to let you go. Suddenly the sunlight bright and warm. Suddenly I'm holding the world in my arms. Jesus Christ. I think the fact I'm in front of the camera is actually like holding back the tears a little bit, because there's literally never been a time that I've been able to listen to this song or even just think about the lyrics and not start at the very least tearing up. Suddenly I'm holding the world in my arms. When I have fallen in love with a person since seeing this musical, that line plays in my head. Like, it honestly, like, it's even like a cliche. Like, it's not like that's the first time that's been said, but again, there's just something about the context of this production and the fact that Reeve Carney and Ava Noblezada are actually partners, and also just the on-stage chemistry and the whole production of it and the way they say the words. There's just something about it in this song that just makes it amazing. Say that you'll hold me forever. Say that the wind won't change on us. Say that we'll stay with each other and it will always be like this. I'm gonna hold you forever. The wind will never change on us. Long as we stay with each other, then it will always be like this. Yeah, you know, I definitely should have scripted this part of the video, but hopefully, I don't know, even though I've kind of just been rambling, hopefully my like actual real organic reaction to this song speaks more than what I could have put into words on the script. I don't know. But yeah, this song is just, it's amazing. The whole musical is amazing, and this is, you know, far from the only song in the musical that's like this. I could have also talked about Epic 1, 2, or 3, or even something like Wedding Song or Come Home With Me. The whole thing is just amazing. Again, I just keep saying that, I know, but it's true. Seeing Hadestown at the Walter Kerr Theater, one of the best things I've ever seen happen to a stage was that production being done on top of it. Find some way to watch this show if you never have, and even if you have and you are familiar with it, I hope that I've reminded you of it and you'll go listen to the soundtrack again, or soundtrack, whatever it's called, the album of it. You know, I almost definitely have more to say about this song and about Hadestown, but I totally feel like I'm just rambling, so yeah, that's the list. All I've Ever Known, Hadestown, Anais Mitchell, best love song of all time, hands down, no contest, in my opinion. So there it is, a big old video about love songs and what makes them good. Show don't tell, make it personal, be emotional, and make me personally cry. This is the first scripted video I've ever made on this channel, and it was an interesting experience to make. I've got some more ideas planned for future videos, both like this and not like this. Everything having something to do with music, songwriting, being a musician, stuff like that. Thanks for watching the whole video. I know it was pretty long, but I'm assuming you must have enjoyed it if you made it all the way to the end, so if you wouldn't mind, I don't know, liking the video, sharing it with everyone you've ever met, subscribing to my channel, ringing the bell, and checking the description for links to my socials and following me on all of those, that would be pretty cool. With that, right here is a video. It's either a live stream highlight or a scripted video I haven't made yet. Right here is a video the algorithm thinks you'll enjoy, and right around here is a link to subscribe to my channel, which again, I'd very much appreciate if you did. Happy Valentine's Day. Smooch someone if you got him, and if you don't, I'm sorry. Bye.